chill laddies, my name is Jacksepticeye and welcome back to a Would You Rather video. But this one is different because I want to involve you guys more and more in my videos as much as I possibly can to bridge this sort of gap. I thought it'd be a good idea to do a Would You Rather video where I take some of your suggestions. So this time I'm not going to the either.io website to get some of the Would You Rather scenarios. I'm going directly to you. So these ones should actually be kind of tailored towards me, or at least something that's going to be hard for me to answer, or something that's a little weird for me to answer. So let's get jiggy with it. Let's get fun with it. I wrote out, gonna try and record a bit of a different Would You Rather video involving all of you this time. So write out your own Would You Rather scenarios for me to answer. And of course, one of the first things we get is, would you rather go on a date with Chris Pratt or Ryan Reynolds? Oh man, that's difficult. Oh shit. Okay, I'm gonna have to seriously think about this one, because it's not just would you rather go on a date with them and it's like a romantic thing or anything like that. Now I actually have to think about who I'd rather hang out with and get like advice from and listen to and that kind of stuff. Oh, who'd be more fun to hang out with? Ooh, very good one. Very good start to this. This is going to be the whole video now, me contemplating it. Okay, both of them incredibly fun, energetic, charismatic people. That's a given, the way it is. I think I could have a crap ton of fun with either of them. I think they'd have a lot of stuff they'd be able to say, a lot of advice they'd be able to give. I don't know. Probably Ryan Reynolds. Would I? I don't know. I love Chris Pratt as well. But Ryan Reynolds, like, as of right now, if I'm thinking about this right now, probably Ryan Reynolds, because Deadpool 2 is coming up, and I think there'd be a lot of cool conversation to be had around that. I know Infinity War is coming up soon too, but Deadpool 2 is like dedicated only to one character, whereas Infinity War, I don't know how much Chris Pratt's actually going to be in that. So I don't know. That's a very hard one. Because I'd like to talk to both of them. I'd like to get to know both of them a bit more on like a personal level, or just hear stuff from their own words without like cameras or anything being on. And I'd like to hear like their acting advice, and I'd like to hear just their life advice and what they've been through and what they're going through, different things like that. So right now I'd probably pick Ryan Reynolds. Maybe it's because I had a dream about him recently, and because Deadpool 2 is coming out. I know how much you hate heights, so would you rather skydive from 12,000 feet but get to the ground in 5 minutes, or abseil down a 600-foot building but it takes an hour? Ooh. Okay. 12,000 feet. I don't know how high up a regular skydive is. 12,000 feet is very, very high up. I have always wanted to at least try skydiving. I keep thinking that I would, if I really, really wanted to. Like, if I'm just sitting here and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's just do it. Because, I don't know, it's not a fear of me jumping out of a plane and me fearing that my parachute's not going to go off and I'm going to die or anything. It's just that, like, looking down, it's like, oh god, that's scary looking kind of feeling. And I think I could overcome that and have a lot of fun out of it. But getting from 12,000 feet to the ground in 5 minutes, I don't know how fast people normally drop from a skydive, or abseil down a 600-foot building. I'd probably go with the skydive, because I feel like skydiving from 12,000 feet is a lot cooler than abseiling a 600-foot building. Sure, and taking an hour would also, it might help me get over it, it might help me understand it, it might help me have a good time, a bit of a better time, and enjoy it eventually after I overcame the fear. But I think it would also take an hour to get down, which would just be, after a while, would just take a really long time. Whereas after 12,000 feet in 5 minutes, I would be buzzing. I would be so ready to go. I'd have so much energy in me and adrenaline pumping through me that I'd probably want to do it again. Definitely, this could traumatize me. Would you rather crush poop with naked feet or get Wet Willy? K-Roos, what's wrong with you? This is a mistake. So, crush poop with naked feet, okay, no, or get a wet willy. So are you saying that my actual physical willy is wet? Or that I'm getting, like, the kitty wet willy in your ears thing? Either of, I am good with the wet willy. No matter which one you're saying, I do not want to step on poop with my naked feet. Unless it's like really dried up horse poop or something, because then it's not really going to make a difference. But it's like, if it's really like sludgy, manure kind of stuff, then no thanks. Would you rather be Spider-Man or Deadpool? Now see, this is where you think you're gonna get me because Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool and I keep going on about that all the time. But no, Spider-Man, without question. There is absolutely no doubt. If anybody came to me with any sort of scenario being, would you rather be Spider-Man or something else? Does not matter. Spider-Man is always the better option. Unless it's like, double Spider-Man. That's a pretty good option. But Spider-Man, always. I would love to be Spider-Man. I got Spider-Man on my freaking monitor here. There's so many Spider-Man figurines and toys upstairs. I just love Spider-Man. He's the coolest superhero. Because his powers are just really unique. And they make him super bouncy and agile and like really springy. And I love that kind of like athleticism in him. And he's small and he's lean. He's not like super bulky or like mad ripped or anything. He's just small and lean, but he's insanely strong. And he's just a kid. I mean, everyone kind of feels like they relate to Peter Parker. I relate to Peter Parker more than I have any other superhero's alter ego. Put it that way. And I think that's why I like Spider-Man so much. Not only that, but his powers are some of the coolest that I've ever seen from a superhero as well. So, Spider-Man. And he has the coolest outfit. Would you rather play only Shadow of the Colossus or The Last Guardian for 24 hours straight? I think I'd go with Shadow of the Colossus. Well, see, this is a tricky one because The Last Guardian I've only actually finished once. And that was for the videos I uploaded here on YouTube, but I've played it a little bit since then, but not the whole thing again. So I think playing that again for 24 hours would probably make the 24 hours go by a lot quicker. Because I'd be going through it again and it would take me, what, 5 hours to get through that game again? So if I did that and I just took my time and took it all in and looked at all the little hidden details, that would probably make the 24 hours go quicker. Shadow of the Colossus, I finished probably about 10 times already. Ugh. But I haven't done the time trial stuff in a long time, but even then, doing that, it's like a 3-hour game for me now. So, I don't know. Probably Shadow of the Colossus. I'll go with Shadow of the Colossus, because I could do the time trials and I could start whittling down my technique and start getting it like a lot more refined and everything, and I could just start like hammering through the Colossi and really getting really good at it. I'm already really good at it the way I am, but just like getting like speedrunner good at it. Would you rather die from a terrible long illness or be stabbed and bleed out until you die? Wow. I would go with the terrible long illness. Being stabbed is one of my biggest fears. I think it's such a horrible thing for anybody to do to another human, and it's like one of the worst things a human can have done to them. It's just, it's horrible. The thought of that actually happening is so scary. And either way, I'm dying. So I would rather have something where I can make amends. Do something with the time I have left. If I have a terrible long illness, even if it's like a lot of pain for me, I can at least do more for the world while I'm here right now. I could start giving away money to different organizations. I could just start setting up a lot of different things before I went out of this world, put it that way. I could hang out with friends one last time. I could do all these like different things. I could like actually do a bucket list kind of thing. Whereas if I just get stabbed and bleed out, not only is that horrible, but I wouldn't really have much time to contemplate. I wouldn't have much time to reflect and to make things right. This is fun. I'm glad I decided to do this kind of one. It's interesting to see what you guys come up with. Would you rather voice act in a good indie game or a bad publisher game? So you mean something like EA or something? If I voice acted in one of their games, which they have a reputation for being bad, especially now after Star Wars and all that stuff. Or would I rather voice act in a good indie game? I'd probably go with the good indie game. I voice acted in some good indie games already, which I'm really proud of and I'm really happy with. And I don't know. I don't think the exposure is what I look for when it comes to that thing. If I wanted to voice act in something for exposure, I could probably just put my feelers out and try and get my name into something somewhere, with like ties to Disney and different things like that. But that's not the point. The way I want to voice act is that I want to be good at it. I want to get experience. I want to be good at it. I want to like play fun characters. I want to do fun voices. I want to do all these different things. And sure, you could do that in a bad publisher game, but if it's a good indie game, then that's probably, like, I play a lot of indie games as it is. And you could probably help out the developer of the indie game by promoting it here on YouTube then, by playing it because I was in it. Like I did for Pinstripe or Bendy and the Ink Machine, which I was really happy with. So, probably go with a good indie game. I go with anything, really, at this point. I just want to do it, but yeah, good question. Would you rather meet Amazing Phil or meet Dan Howell? Both. I've met both at the same time. Twice, actually. So, both. That isn't an either or situation. Plus, are they ever disconnected from the hip? That's the thing. I think they're just secretly aliens from another planet, and they came down and they have to stay together because they're symbiotes. And they have to live off of each other. And if we ever figure out the real secret... Oh, shit. Would you rather sleep naked in the woods wearing nothing but raw steak, or take a bath in hot banana milk? Come on! That's the easiest answer ever. Hot banana milk. It could scald my skin. I don't care. Then I would be infused with banana milk. That would be amazing. I would smell good. I could drink some of my own stew. That'd be awesome. Why would I want to sleep naked in the woods wearing nothing but raw steak? That just sounds uncomfortable. Hot banana milk bath sounds like something I would actually legitimately do. Would you rather have no fingers or no toes? I tried, I'm sorry. Oh, that's okay. At least you wrote something, thank you. I'd rather have no toes. Because fingers are far more useful than your toes are. Toes are great for balance and all that kind of stuff. But your fingers are like used for everything. I have a cup of coffee right here that I would not be able to drink without fingers. I mean, I could, but it would just be a lot more difficult. Fingers are what separates human from a lot of other species on the planet as well. Like fingers and opposable thumbs. Opposable thumbs are a big one. So, yeah, I'd rather lose my toes. Would you rather quit YouTube and be a game designer or continue with YouTube? I feel like that's a bit of an obvious one that I just continue with YouTube. But I get what you're going for. Would I rather quit YouTube and be a game designer or go with YouTube and then do something else later on? Because that's, the thing is, I'm not going to do YouTube forever. I'm not going to be here all the time forever and always. I'm eventually going to have to move off and do something else. Game design is not something that I would like to do. I mean, that's a wrong way of saying it. I would like to do it, but it's not something that I would actively pursue, because the stuff that's needed to become a game designer, I don't really have any interest in. I would love to be involved in a game in somehow, but I'd rather be involved in like the mocap aspect of it, or the voice aspect of it, or even music and sound design more so than just general game design, because I'm not good at math, I'm not good at code, I'm not good at art, any of those things, and I don't really have the drive to be good at them to want to become a game designer. And if I was ever going to quit YouTube for anything, I would probably still do something like this. Like voice acting, or music, or traditional acting. Whatever it's going to be that I end up doing, I'm probably still going to do it in some sort of regard where I can still sit down and do this kind of stuff all the time. And bring people along. If I do game design, I don't really know if that's the same thing. The way I interact with everybody now is something that I want to continue doing in whatever adventure I do after this. So doing game design, I can still interact with you, but I'm not really here on video being able to talk to you every day, sort of thing. Unless I forced it out. You know what I mean? Would you rather cry the entire day or get angry the entire day? Ooh, I would much prefer to cry for an entire day than get angry for an entire day. Because crying isn't always sad. That's probably what you mean, but I could be happy crying, or I could just be crying for different reasons, but being angry, I do not like being angry. If something actually like frustrates me or agitates me or gets me angry, I'm in just such a bad headspace. I'm so unproductive. Some people can use their anger and use it to like work for them. I don't know if that's healthy or not, because you're kind of working in spite of things or running on this weird energy that can't like sustain itself. Not that you could work on crying either. I don't think I could work productively under either. I could probably just work better under crying. And I think I can understand crying a lot more than I can understand the anger. Because the anger just... If I cry, I kind of get stuff out of my system. And then afterwards I'm like, okay, that's done. Let's move on. If I'm angry, usually the anger... It doesn't just go. It kind of lingers around. Because I don't get angry often. I don't get angry at things. I'm usually fairly happy about stuff that's going on. But if I do get angry, it's usually over something worth getting angry over, if that makes any sense. So if I am angry, it's usually because I'm in a bad headspace and I don't want to be in a bad headspace. Being angry just makes me uncomfortable. Put it that way. Would you rather have ears for nipples or nipples for ears? Probably ears on my nipples. Ears for nipples. All the more to hear you with. Could hear stuff coming in front of me from miles away. I think having ears for nipples right down here would be a lot more useful than having nipple ears. If I had nipples up here, I don't think that... Does that mean then I wouldn't be able to hear anymore? I just lose my ears and have nipples where they'd be. Because then I'd definitely go with ears down where my nipples are. It'd be a bit weird, and anyone taking off my shirt or even trying to put on clothes or anything would be a little strange. I mean, I could get them cut off. That's a thing. I'd still have these ears. Or are you saying would I rather switch them around? That's a different type of discussion. Oh, would you rather be lost in a forest or be lost in the ocean? Oh, a forest, without question. Without doubt. Don't get me wrong, being lost in like a very, very dense forest and not knowing any way out of it, especially at nighttime, would be very, very scary. But never mind all the ease of actually having some sort of edible materials or some sort of craftable materials, that kind of stuff. Whatever about that, but just being lost in the ocean sounds like one of the scariest things that a human can go through. Imagine being out there in the middle of the ocean and having nothing around you and just your legs dangling underwater and you not being able to see anything. That is fucking horrible. There's stories out there of some people, I can't remember which war it was, it was one of the world wars, I think, where some of the soldiers had to abandon their own ship and they were all out in the water just while the ship sank, and they were all just out in the water swimming around waiting for rescue while like most of the soldiers were all eaten by sharks. Imagine how horrible that would be. Just sitting there floating in the ocean, not having a clue, in the dark, not having a clue what's underneath you, and some of your friends and your allies and everything are just being picked out of the water by sharks and you don't know if you're going to be next. That is so, so scary. That's one of the scariest things I think in my head that anybody can go through. Would you rather be able to play the piano or the guitar? Ooh. I think I would be more of a piano man. Guitar's cool. I wanted to learn guitar when I was younger before I learned drums. But being able to play piano is one of the coolest talents, I think, someone can be able to do. Fucking fantastic English. Just watching people play piano and play piano well is so impressive to me. There's so many people out there who can play, well, I guess can play both. But if someone can play guitar well versus someone who can play piano well, because I've just seen so many people be able to play guitar well, and I've known people who are able to play guitar super, super well in my life, I think that's why the allure of piano is so much stronger for me. And the older I've gotten and the more I've gotten into like different types of music, and film scores and soundtracks and game soundtracks and things like that, I've been hugely drawn to piano. And I think if you learn how to play piano well, it translates so well to so many different instruments. Because if you can get learning piano well means that you learn music theory very, very well. You can read music, you can listen to it, you can probably play the notes, you know your octaves, your circle of fifths, all that kind of stuff. Not only that, but you have insane dexterity in your fingers to be able to play different things. So you could probably go from piano to guitar easier than you could go from guitar to piano. Just because you have the dexterity there, you know the theory. And learning a fretboard is not that different from learning a piano in a way. A lot of people out there will be like, how dare you? You know what I mean. Any of you who play these instruments will probably agree with me as well. And I really wish I was one of those people who could sit down, play piano, and make my own songs. Because I play drums, I can't make my own music. I can make my own beats, but I can't really make music out of just a drum kit unless I get very, very inventive with it. Whereas if you play a couple of chords with a piano, you're already making melodies and music, and it sounds very, very pleasing. And I'd love to be able to just be that person who could go up and sit down at a piano and just play. Ah, this is a good one. Given that you can't interact with your environment in either scenario, would you rather spend a day in the past or an hour in the future? So I'd have to spend like a full day anytime in the past or an hour anytime in the future. But I can't interact with my environment. So I'm only allowed to go there and like be like a ghost and just experience it. I would love to go to the future and see what's there. Because the past is in the past. The past is written. The ink is dry. The stuff that's happened has happened. And whether you mean any time in the past or even just my own past, either way, I can look up stuff that's happened in the past. I can get a lot more clarity on it by going back and spending a day there. Like what really happened during this event. But it's done. Whatever was going to happen, happened anyway. So coming back, I think I would just have a bit more clarity on certain things, but it wouldn't really change a whole lot. Whereas going for an hour in the future, it's only an hour, that goes by pretty quick. But if I could go like 1,000 years in the future, just to see what it would be like, just to see what would happen, what would be there, would be so incredible. How far space travel has come, where humanity actually is. Did we progress or regress? Did things get better or worse? Did we do great things? Or did we destroy ourselves, kind of thing? What does technology look like in the future? How long do people live? Is there a unifying language or different systems like that? Like all this sci-fi stuff that I grew up loving, that I wish I could see. And like even back before when people watched 80s movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey, and they had like glass panels that they were poking at and doing science stuff on, and you were like, that's crazy. Imagine having that in the future. And now it's like, well, yeah, this is a piece of glass that you touch to interact with. Like, how crazy will the future be for us now? I'd love to see what like video game graphics and movies and everything look like. I would just be fascinated way more by the future than I would be by the past. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave this video here. That was really, really fun. It's very interesting getting would you rather questions from people who watch you and follow the content that you make. Because a lot of the questions are like obviously tailored more towards the way I think. And a lot of you ask questions that you knew that I was sort of into, like the sci-fi future stuff and those kinds of things and the superheroes and everything. So it's a lot more fascinating to read them that way than to just go to the website. So I'll probably do more like this, where I actually ask you to ask me stuff. And it's a lot more topical and relevant because a lot of the Chris Pratt, Ryan Reynolds stuff was here because of the Valentine's video I did. So it's just interesting to see that stuff. And that was a blast. And I love doing videos where you're actively in the video. Your direct influence is in the videos that I'm doing. That is a huge contributing factor to why I want to do these types of videos as well. So I just love them. I love getting more involved with everybody out there. So thanks for giving me some suggestions. I didn't get to all of them, but we'll do this again. And maybe I'll answer your thing next time. But thank you guys so much for... Sorry, had a burp from all the coffee. For watching this episode, if you liked it, punch the like button in the face like a boss. And I plays all around. Whoosh, whoosh. Thank you guys. I want to see all you dudes in the next video. Very good question, very good answer, very good video, very good.